Alright, so we're going to go over yesterday's classwork assignment. So we were talking about covalent compounds, and we know that the electrons are shared when I'm doing a covalent compound. And I show that by drawing my line for the bond. So let's actually look at our example. So the first example we had was CCl4. So I'm going to want to draw my carbon as a Lewis dot, which has 4 valence electrons. And then I'm going to draw my chlorine, which has my 7 valence electrons. I need to figure out how many total electrons I have in this compound. So I know that carbon comes with the 4 valence electrons. I know that chlorine, there are 4 of them, and each of those has 7 valence electrons. So that gives me a total of 32 electrons. Now, as I'm dealing with covalent compounds, I want to look at how many pairs they have. So I'm going to divide this number by 2, and that gives me 16 pairs. So from here, I need to actually draw what this compound looks like. Now that I've drawn the Lewis dot for each, I figured out how many electrons total there were, and I know how many pairs there are. So I know that I'm going to put carbon in the middle, and I'm going to draw Cl's out at all the sides. Carbon is what I call a central atom. So as I drew those lines in to connect them, because obviously they have to be connected, they're in a compound, I used 4 lines. So that's 4 pairs of electrons. So instead of 16 pairs, I now have 12. So from here, I just need to place my electrons, those pairs. So I'm going to start at one chlorine. It doesn't matter which one. Carbon's already filled, so I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And conveniently, that's all my pairs. So now I've got to do my check. Does every element have its 8 electrons at it once? Well, if I check carbon, it had the 4 bonds, so that's all 8. And then if I check each chlorine, I can see I have 3 pairs of electrons around the chlorine plus the bond, so that gives me my 8 for each of those. So they're all good. Next, I'm going to do my iodine atom. The next one we had to do was iodine, and that's I2 because it's a diatomic molecule. I know that iodine has the 7 valence electrons, so I know that iodine has 2 of them, and there are 7 electrons each for a total of 14 electrons. I divide that by 2, and that gives me 7 pairs. So I now set them up, and this is pairs again. So now I set it up. I have my I bonded to my I, and remember, we want to draw the lines on the top and bottom of the I's so that we can differentiate between an I, a capital I, and a lowercase l. So please draw your lines on top. I will always draw them. I will make sure I always use fonts that draw them. I need you to always draw them. So I have 1 pair already, so now I have 6 pairs to place. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I check everybody, and I can see each of them has all 8 electrons. So that's all I needed to do for homework last night.